Hi, everyone. We're here today for the National and International Beat Poetry Festival, and we are interviewing some of our new laureates, and we're going to be having them read something and answer a few questions. But first, I'm going to be giving them their award online here, and then I will be sending them their awards to them. But I want to welcome everybody first.
Thank you.
So first, we're going to have Lily Swarn from India. She's our International Beat Poet Laureate, incoming International Beat Poet Laureate.
Thank you very much, Deborah, for having me. This is a proud moment indeed.
Let's see. I think I have to, what do I have to do, Paul? Wait a minute. Paul, how can I show that I'm giving her her award?
I will spotlight you again.
Right. First, we have Lily Swarn from India, and she is our incoming International Beat Poet Laureate for 2023 to 2024. And Lily, I'm going to be sending you your award.
Wow.
It's very beautiful. It's beautiful like you, Lily.
It's really beautiful. Thank you very much. Honored. Thank you, Debbie, for having me here, first of all, in this Zoom conference, and for awarding me in this beautiful manner. It means a lot to me, sitting so far away from you all.
So, Lily, what does this award mean to you today?
It is much, believe me. After all these years, a lot of awards have come my way. I've been blessed. There has been almost like, a blessing. But for me, this particular one means a notch above. Not because it comes from, a legacy which is from the 1960s, but because there are so many very wonderful humans associated with it. When I read the list of people who have been awarded the Beat Poet Laureate Awards, it is awe-inspiring. So to be counted, with all due humility, amongst these, stalwarts, it means the world. And I'm so grateful to, it gives me a kind of an aura of solemnity almost. I feel as if I'm different, and I mean it. Thank you very much.
So, would you like to read something for us?
Oh, yes, definitely. Just randomly, what I picked up is very early in the morning. So let me see. I wonder if this would interest you. It's something called the crumbling Haveli. So a Haveli is like it's a building, where people live, and it's a structure, and it's getting a little outdated because it's, biggish, and most of them are now falling apart. So I think it might give you a feel of, the India of the yesteryears. Would you like me to read that?
Sure, you can read a few things.
Okay, so this goes, the crumbling Haveli, made with Nanak Shahi bricks. Not even bats and snakes inhabit it now. Only the rambling rose still clings to the damp walls, and a spunky peepal tree juts out of the limestone roof. Deep dungeons leading to dried up rivers, harboring secrets, hiding treasure troves, tucked away in the sobbing labyrinth of musty odors. A brass lamp, sooty and grimy, it will never light up anyone's path again. No swish of silken ghararas, will whisper in the woebegone hallways. No clang of pots will enliven the bewildered kitchen. No prattle of tiny tots sliding down the banisters will ever reverberate. An off-tuned sarangi will wail out its nostalgic tumari as the strains of music blend with the almond-eyed courtesan's alarm, boomeranging in the pulsating relics of decadent time. Some woman with an aquiline nose and a determined jawline remind me of this magnificent edifice slumbering in the narrow lanes of the walled city. Slumbering in the narrow lanes, their silver-haired and weathered skin call for some attention, despite their aging gait and rheumy eyes. The crumbling Haveli beckons still. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Lily.
Thank you. Maybe I can find something else. Okay. So this is a tiny one called A Woman, and it's about the India we have now. It might reflect on my time. So this matters. It's a tiny verse. It says, a woman, she lets the rivers rave and rant, riding their high horses of rage. She let feeble mud slide and crumble like cookies dipped in coffee cups. She let the trees uproot and crash with terrifying lightning and thunder. She let glossy glaciers weep and melt, shattering glass ceilings of climate. She let her children fight and abuse with scary threats of nuclear warfare. She often wishes to pull their ears and make them repent for their deeds. She's a woman, and India is her name. Some days hangs her head in shame. Some days she hangs her head in shame. Thank you.
So read us something else. Do you have anything from one of the anthologies?
I'm not too sure if I've got it here, but no, I don't really think so.
No?
Yes, let me see what else.
It's a beautiful necklace you're wearing, Lily.
Thank you very much. So this is something called a treacherous squat. And let's see if this might appeal to any of you. It goes, a treacherous squat, outlandish and ethereal, are not really synonymous. I just thought of them together today. As the world waited with stomachs sucked in. So Debbie, this is, for all of you who are listening to me, it's, about the farmers' protest. We had a big farmers' protest in India, and this, brings out all that they went through and how long and stretched out it is, and it still is. It's for the rights of farmers. So it goes, as the world waited with stomachs tucked in for the puffed up selfie and a stylish stick, and the media mughals slummed it out in the freezing plains of North India. The fog thickened around Sindhu border. No, it wasn't the infamous Delhi pollution haze, just the shivering chill of a dazed nation, covered in blankets and quilts of motley weaves, logs flaming orange areas to douse a raging within. Hyenas bark. Hyenas bark. They don't howl, I know, while tractors screech, not yelp as they break. Trolleys load anything from animal fodder to smelly dung. Women in cotton dupattas, off for a cacophonous funeral dirge, or pink satin, golden laced, saggipul in place. That's an ornament. For the robust Gidda dance in a flashy wedding tent. I could hear the keherwa and the teen tal of his thudding heart as he lowered his limbs in a treacherous squat, the turban shaded in a victorious hue, the glint back in his sunken eyes. उनकी आगोश में सर हो ये जरूरी तो नहीं, हर शबे गम की सहर हो ये जरूरी तो नहीं. He brushed this ghazal aside like an irritating cobweb from his thoughts and hummed afresh, मेरी खेती खिड़ी बहार कुड़े, मैं ले नू चल मेरे नाल कुड़े. The folk song he grew up hearing his dad as he rode pillion on a muddy bike across the squelchy fields. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So that was very good. And I'm very interested in hearing later about the farmers' struggle in India, because
Sure.
the farmers everywhere are struggling, it seems.
Absolutely.
Next, we're going to be honoring Larry Jaffe from Florida, and he is becoming a lifetime
Wow.
New Generation Beat Poet Laureate. Larry has dedicated his life to improving the human condition, I guess you'd call it. So, Larry.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see you next.
I'm in the crosshairs. Thank you so much, Deb. This is a very exciting moment. I appreciate the whole program. I appreciate you selecting me to be a lifetime. I still got a few years left in me, so we'll keep putting those words out, you know. Like you said, I work very hard on human rights. A lot of my work involves human rights. And this is the 75th anniversary of the Declaration of Human Rights in December. And I especially work on anti-slavery, human trafficking, sex trafficking. I work very closely with one of the top investigators in the country. She's literally rescued thousands of kids from sex trafficking. So I'm really proud to write her newsletter. Her name's Dottie Laster. And
a lot of people don't realize that slavery is not dead, even though they try to make believe it is.
it's a $32 billion industry.
Yes.
Which is just unconscionable. It's hard to believe that in the 21st century that we still have slaves, but we have some 28 million slaves around the world. And my job is to eradicate that. So here I am.
And you have done a lot. You've done a lot for that cause. And I'm very grateful to have you in the organization. And I want to ask you, do you think that this award helps you continue or get more attention to what's going on? Because we are not the normal poetry society, let's say.
No, thank God we're not the normal poetry society. Because I get tired of rhyming moon in June and swoon or something. But yeah, it gives me a platform to operate from that's wider and more expansive and more explosive, if you will. It gives me credibility. I'm working with the Jack Kerouac House in St. Petersburg. I'll be the poet in residence there. So we have a lot of exciting things happening. I'm putting together now a book in the city of Brooksville, that children be writing poetry about the city. And it's called Facing History to Create Tomorrow, written by the children of Brooksville. So, you know, I'm involved in the communities that I live in quite much. And on my off hours, I do human trafficking workshops.
Mhm.
So,
So tell us, how did you feel when you walked into the Kerouac house?
oh man, if you go to my profile, I got pictures. I sat in Jack's lounger, you know.
Mm.
That was like so freaking cool. Um, I just was like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. So what do you want to read for us tonight?
Sure. The first piece is actually dedicated to you, Miss Deborah,
Oh,
and it's called The Beat Generation Still Lives. The Beat Generation lives on. Those who matter carry the torch. Those who live adjust words to moods. Those who care maintain the planet. The Beat Generation lives on, matching them with snaps of fingers. The beat lives on like the ticking clock, like the beating heart, like the fall of rain, like the rays of sun. The Beat Generation lives on.
that's great.
Thank you. Well, that's cause of you, ma'am. You put this here. You validate these no account poets that just kind of born out of the communities in which they live in. No highfalutin words allowed. You know, you validated us. You let us know that we exist. So I thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, but I do have this passion. I do want this Beat Generation to go on, and that doesn't always. I have a lot of resistance in that area, but it just makes me more determined.
Well, you know, it's screw them if they can't take a joke or a poem.
Because thinking about the original Beat Generation, they had to meet in underground clubs,
Mhm.
basically hide from the public, uh, just to read whatever that was on their mind. Uh, and they weren't allowed, especially women. They were not allowed to speak their mind.
Well,
Do you have
this is
anything else? Do you want to read some more for us, Larry?
I'd love to, but this is a new Beat Generation, and we love having everyone participate. So this next piece is called Little Mother. It's from my mom. Today, as my 96-year-old mother sinks into dementia, her Yiddish sayings bounce around my head. It's as if I am suddenly bewitched with her Yiddishness, and I don't even know if that's a word. All I know is that with every step she takes away from life, another Yiddish phrase sticks in my head. My mother used to say plots a lot. I thought it meant to die. She was often screaming at me, at us, and saying, "You should just plots." I was wrong. It has to do with death. It means to split, crack, burst, or explode, but not die. It further connotes to be overcome with emotion, give way to excitement, anger, or delight. I wonder now, how did I come up with that deadly conclusion? She would often say we were for stinking her. That word speaks for itself. It means stinky. She would call us stunks, which was even worse. We were stinkers and nasty and smelling. And when things were untenable for her, she would burst out that we were fakakta. That is lousy, messed up, ridiculous. When we were getting too big for our britches, saying, "Who do you think you are?" Well, I had no idea who my uncle was or is. I just knew I did not want to be like him. And it wasn't until I was 50 years old that I discovered there was no such person. Chaim was a figment of my mother's and every mother's imagination. Chaim was a non-entity, a nobody. He was just another poor Joe. One of the more strange phrases involved a teapot as she shrieked when we were bothering her, "Stop hocking me a chinik!" What did banging on a teapot have to do with anything? This I did not know and just resolved to leave her be. When the weather got too hot in the house she kept spotless, she would be schwitzing, a word that speaks sweating without translation. She had tragedy written on her face when pronouncing these Yiddish expletives. But to her, I was her yingle, her boy, her number one son.
That's
Thank you
nice.
very much.
Mhm. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. Happy to oblige.
So we're here. We're celebrating all of us, but especially the new incoming Beat Laureates to the organization, and I'm very happy that I can do this. And you all seem so wonderful. You've done so much to help improve the human condition, and that's why you are getting these awards. People are recommending poets to me all the time, but there are certain people that stand out, and you all are some of those people. And next I want to bring on Belinda Subraman. She's from Texas, and this is going to be the award you'll be getting, Belinda. And I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I am extremely honored, and it was a big surprise. And it means so much to me. As you know by now that I've been doing what I do for many decades. And it's like a big validation, and that somebody noticed, and there's a history out there, and hopefully I've planted good seeds all around the world. So, and I'll keep doing what I can do. So thank you very much for this honor.
Thank you. So tell us, is it tough for you in Texas to be a beat poet, or a poet in general?
Well, yeah. I immediately thought of political atmosphere, but we probably don't want to go there, but it does play into it a bit. Because I'm obviously liberally minded, and this is a bright, flaming red state. And however, as I've pointed out many times, we're in that tiny little western corner in our own time zone, and in the top is New Mexico, and the bottom is Mexico, and we're like in their back door. It's 600 miles to any Texas city. I mean, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston is closer to 900. So we feel like we belong to New Mexico, which is a more liberal state. And of course, okay, that's enough about that.
So, well, I guess, I asked because what it means is that there are good people everywhere.
Yes, yes. Just like any subject, anything, yin yang, there's the good and there's a bad side to absolutely everything.
And I'm glad to have you here. So would you like to read a few things for
Okay.
us?
All right. I tend to write kind of short, so short and philosophically. So this is something I wrote a few days ago called B, True Little Story. With 50 days of triple-digit heat, we've all been huddling in our habitats. I take joy in watering outside in the evening. When Ben the bee greets me, I figure he lives in one of the 3 nests tacked high above our front door, outside our vaulted overhang. When I grab the hose, he buzzes around me. I take it as a hello. I've never been afraid, even when he buzzes a few inches from my face. Today, he wasn't there. I missed him a little. Then I saw a big carcass near where he always appeared. Damn, maybe he died of thirst. I never considered where a bee got its water. It would have been so easy to leave a dish. I could have helped, maybe. Then I Googled bee lifespan. It's only a few weeks. Maybe it was his time. Strange how I missed this bee. I still think he was saying hello.
Mm.
Where I've come to be. Next Wednesday, I have a big birthday. 7 decades finished.
Wow.
Still young in the death by old age category. An elusive lifeline I used to calm myself. It was always the same deal. If you're alive, you're going to die. Neurotic about transformation, a dead ego finding bliss. Beaming into webs of connection, plugged into a universal mind. I choose that, but I may be wrong. Wrong is the ego I need to let go of, to flow with the wind and the sea. I feel myself slowing down, wind in a mild storm. Nerves are electricity, life force churning, thunder a cannon to eternity. Even with aching hips and forgetfulness, still with a punch of a dream up ahead.
You look so young.
It's the lighting. If I can get the lighting right, I look all right. But if you notice in the various things that I've put up there on my site, sometimes I look 110. You know?
You always look fine. Don't kid yourself.
Well, I feel young. Just like some person said recently, someone famous, I don't remember who, that now I'm at the age where I realize I'm who I've always been, though hopefully it gets improved with years. But still, I'm who I've always been. It's just in this aging body. You remember when we're young and we look at older people, it seems like they're in another universe. No, they're in the same one. And now you realize you're just who you are. And okay, well, this something I wrote recently. I was just feeling all aggravated and disturbed about, there's just mass shootings so frequently, sometimes 2 a day, blah, blah, blah. You know all about it. To the mass shooters, unfiltered words, unexamined lives, propaganda parrots, inane thoughts and projections, pain squeezed inward until the pressure explodes, judging without empathy, the very thing you need to soothe the pain, anger in your unloved life. A cold shell unable to open, a small light needing fuel. You need attention and you'll get it. You buy the long gun at the shop around the corner, boxes of bullets ready for random retribution. They will remember you killed their relatives. You will make an impression at last, but you will still not be loved. Is that enough,
Yeah.
or you want one more?
Wonderful.
You could do one more.
Okay. This is a bit of an oldie. Approaching the veil scientifically. Eyes like stars, sparkle and die, and cycle into new stars, new eyes. The answer is outside our window. Astronomers look for the beginning and find there is no end. Down to earth, there are frozen lines, winter trees, stalled cars, and dirty snow. Sorrow over endings. The real world is through the window, infinite, ageless, though a clear veil keeps us distant. The soul of what we can never prove keeps us close. Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda. That was wonderful. So we're continuing with our celebration of the incoming Beat Poets Laureates. And we have up next Michael Sindler. He's from Colorado. And this is going to be what I will be sending to you, Michael. Your award. I'm very happy to have you become a laureate. There's been a lot of interest. I know you don't think anybody notices, but there's a lot of interest in you. And people follow your posts. You have important things to say. So welcome, Michael.
Well, it is very nice of you to award me this. I can't say I've won much of any awards before, and certainly nothing like this. Living here in Denver, there are so many great poets that I feel especially honored to be noticed from the many that I do know who are so great. And I've just really been so excited about the things that the National Beat Poet Society has been doing, and the idea of really trying to keep this tradition alive, which is great. Like, I live a block and a half down the street is where Ginsberg used to live when he lived here in Denver, and I just rode by, one of the bars he used to read at on the way home today. So it's, this tradition is still very rich and very real, and I think it's a great thing you're doing in recognizing that and making sure that we carry it on.
Well, it's very important, I think. In the background, I see some of your artwork too, and it's very nice.
Thank you.
How long have you been an artist?
Oh, geez. Well, I sold my first piece when I was 9, so a long, long time ago. I guess.
You were born with
Really?
a pen in your hand?
Well, I was actually vice president of the Sculptured Concrete Products Company when I was 7, helping my dad make sculptures. Yeah, as Larry will recognize that as slave labor, but not really. It's just what happens when you're the kid of a sculptor. But yeah, so I grew up doing visual art, and my parents, I was just in a conversation last night and realizing how incredibly blessed I am to have had two parents who were, both immersed in poetry themselves and really shared it with me all the way from the cradle on. And so, yeah, I don't really do visual art anymore. I'm much just focused on trying to write. Plus, I live in this tiny little space. It's kind of hard to do anything, especially what I do. So yeah, that's where I am as far as my art. But I did it for 50 years or so.
Wow. And do you belong to any other poetry groups in your area?
Well, the one thing that I am very much proud to be affiliated with is the Lighthouse Writers Center here in Denver, which is an incredible organization, and just they have workshops and classes and things like that all through the year, and they have this great Lit Fest festival in June every year, and just they bring just amazing writers. I just got to take a class with Forrest Gander and one with oh geez, no, I'm blanking. But I've been able to study with Ada Limon. I took a couple classes with her through Lighthouse. But one of the things I'm really most excited that they do, I don't have any kids myself, but they have this incredible program from age 8 through 18 of their children's program is just incredible. And just to watch, to come in and and see these kids being able to just really take hold of it and see their own worth and see their talent and grow and do fantastic work. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to be affiliated with Lighthouse. That's really my major thing. And they, through them, they're affiliated with both of the major libraries through the area, Denver Public Library and Jefferson County Public Library. And we've got a lot of going on as far as synergy. And I've done some things with some other organizations around. I've been lucky enough to, work with a chamber symphony and with some of the, there's some very good experimental theater companies. It's not just the, bringing in the Broadway stuff. There's some things, and I've been lucky enough to collaborate with some of those as well.
Do you have some stuff you want to read for us?
Oh, geez, twist my arm. Yeah. I thought I'll try and do some things that y'all have been nice enough to publish, but I wrote this the other day or a couple of weeks ago now, and I just thought it sort of fits with the whole beat aesthetic. It's called In the Alley Behind the Blue Light Bar. I'm sharing a smoke with Albert Einstein in the alley behind the blue light bar, feeling the bump and beat of the bass drum on our backs as the worn wooden door reverberates. A sax squawk cuts like a saw through metal plate. Albert makes a joke I don't get the punchline to. He says, not to worry, I will get it in time. It's all relative. Yeah, whatever, Al, I tell him as the cherry on the cig glows red as a burning sun in the almost dawn sky over the all-night diner with blinking neon telling us to break fast, break fast. Al crushes the butt under his heel, shoelaces dangling. He's not the kind to care about entanglement. What was it you was working on, I ask. If I knew, I would tell you, he says with a grin. It's all theoretical. I tell him, I've got a gig on a moving truck, making a room in one house into a room in another house. It's kind of magic, ain't it? I ask him. Yes, I get that, Al laughs. Everything is magic if you look at it right, or if you don't know how it's done at all. Either one messes up your mind. He pushes down on his unpinched fedora. It's cold outside. Let's get inside. Al holds the door and we snake back in through the hipsters and jivers and soldiers out on furlough hanging out at the blue light tonight. The trumpeter on stage blows notes that make your heart explode. You hardly need a drink, but Al is back before I know he's gone with 2 beers and 2 shots of schnapps. Whole hell of a lot of energy in here, I say, as I clink, then drink and feel the burn. If you only knew, says Al with a grin wide as a slide trombone. And I'll do one that is in, I can't remember which of the anthologies is in which means people should go out and buy all of them. But this particular one is called Holds in Space. Sweet child, as you look back in time to see the holes in space where friends and family should be, short lives that should have left longer shadows across experience, kisses, hugs, and lessons never shared. Know that they would now embrace you in communion, transcending span of days. These holes you see still let in light, pattern woven round them, stitches all to all, echoes flowering song, exhales sweet scent from memory and momentum. They are you, and you contain in you at least part of them, those known to you or lost before your arrival. These holes may tunnel down to grief, but they fill with wonder. Oh, child, dear child, do not fear to peer deep and discover marvelous tales that mirror your new trail. Living loved ones may falter, falling into mourning, dipping arms into openings, attempting to pull last treasures from well of tears. Hold them tight. Do not allow them to fall in and be lost. An occasional drink of salt water passing lips will wake tired taste buds and summon reflection of shared feasts. But these waters of grief do not bubble up to be bathed in. Sweet little one, we wish, as all who have lost will always wish, you could have known or heard the singular spirit encased in each lost opportunity deprives us of the sweet and tender, the hilarious and melancholy character each snuffed candle's once dancing flame contained. Look into the eyes of the living behind puddling saline falls. That candlelight still flickers undimmed. Let them kindle and pass on the incandescence. Let the light that emanates from these holes in space that mark your past, that invisibly led to you now, stay strong. Sweet child, sweet, dear, gentle child, be all the sum of their lost promise allows. For you have life, and that is what their paid price bought. And you are worth it all.
Wow.
Yeah. So, do you have one more for us?
Oh, sure. And I was thinking this one because I was so entranced with Lily's piece there that I thought maybe this isn't actually taking us to India, but it is taking us to the ashram in the
Thank you.
Catskills, right there in the Borscht Belt,
Wow.
where there is, if you look up in the sky, there is a giant yarmulke above your head. But this is called Prasad for Puja.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Right.
Prasad for puja, sticky sweet set at the feet of Ganesha, round balls of coconut, dates, crushed pistachio, honey, and rosewater, rolled in time to mantras laid in concentric circles on silver serving plate, decorated with mint sprigs and marigolds carried into temple, laid before the altar for assembled deities to partake in through prayer and pure spirit, chanted slokas and bhajans, waving camphor lamp aflame, kindled exhilaration and prostration, gods having had their fill, tray lifted, circumnambulation, boon borne around sacred space, devotee to devotee, each proffered gift placed in palm, lifted to lips, gently bitten, soft, sweet treat, joy travels from tongue to anahata chakra, heart opens to love, resting in bliss, lower limbs in lotus, coconut strands stick between teeth, temperate tranquility, rose water aroma overcoming ambient incense, last bow to altar, rise in reverence, silent solidarity of spirit, sliding off through exit to sleep and dream until morning satsang.
Wow.
Okay, thank y'all.
Very good. Very good. So now that we have everybody back together, Paul, you could come in if you want.
We're still here. I'm in the background, you know, flicking switches.
Well, I mean, you don't have to flick any more switches.
I got it on speaker now. Supposedly, as anybody speaks, I guess they're in the highlight.
Yeah. So Dane came here today because he's wonderful at interviewing, asking questions, and he's very interested in all of us. And I really love that about him. And he wanted to be involved, and I'm happy to have him. So Dane, do you have any questions for any of our new laureates?
Yes, I do. I'm interested to maybe this is well, let me just ask the question, and I'd like to ask the same question to all of the new laureates, and that is if they would like to speak about how they view their role as a poet or an artist in society. So I don't know whoever wants to start first, if they have something that, I don't want to put people on the spot, but you know, if that's something that you think about.
I don't mind being on the spot.
Why don't you go first, Sindler? Oh, go ahead, Lily. You want to go?
Yes, I could. I could say, as a woman from the Orient, I have been, let me put it honestly, in a kind of society where women have been repressed. It's been very male dominated, and specifically where I hail from, North India, it's not been, very easy to get a voice. But luckily, when you come from an educated family, when you're exposed to the best of schooling like I was, one musters courage to try and, treble out a thing or two, which is not really acceptable mostly. And you might be considered, like the beats, different, but I did it. I was a student leader. I was like I had started writing poetry very young and reading it out at youth festivals. And I realized that poetry gave me power. It let me, put out my words out there. And maybe even if I was judged, it was a poet speaking, right? So that gave me that power as an Indian woman, which I would never have got otherwise that time when I was growing up. Of course, it was years ago. But now I feel it gives me dignity. there is a solemnity with the way people now, meet me. And I can feel the surge of wanting to do good with my work. I want to make an effort. Like, I had a son who passed away with cancer. So I would always want to heal mothers. I still do it. Mothers who are grieving. And my poetry has helped me reach so many homes, so many people across the world. And I don't know, it's wonderful to meet people like Deborah who have probably seen that in me. And, it gives you the tools to make an impact globally because of the social media or whatever. So I'm very, very, empowered as a woman from this part of the world to be able to be writing and reading poetry. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And to add to that, Dane, there is something I wrote, which I'll just quickly say it in answer to that interview, that when is it when my soul is withering? So I say, whenever I kept quiet while the little boy washed heaps of dirty dishes instead of going to school, while the racist kids pulled at my child's top knot and bullied him, while someone dictated my choice of attire, that was the beginning of the withering of my soul or the awakening of my soul. Whenever I silently walked past an Eve teaser making lewd comments on a teenage girl, or an aging mother disrespected and ill-treated, a group of 11-year-old substance abusers puffing away, that was the time my soul withered or awakened, I don't know. Whenever I preened and gloated at material acquisitions, joining the bandwagon of vacuous, superficial lifestyle, letting the haves crush and look down scornfully at the have-not, I watched the slow decaying of my withered soul. Letting the bully day I stood in a gallery and clapped at the well-attended funeral of my dead soul. So I'm witness to the deadening of souls, like all of us in this gathering today. We are probably super sensitive beings, and poetry makes us different. Dane?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I think Larry, you wanted to chime in on this as well.
Can't top that. She kind of said it all,
Thank
There
you.
was a profound change after Deborah told me that I was getting the award. And I remember walking into a shop and thinking, I'm their poet laureate, And what's the responsibility of that? And my response to myself is to infuse society with poetry, because, like it or not, poets don't on the career move board, it doesn't come up real high as an occupation one would choose.
Well, we get paid so much.
That's atrocious. That's the saddest part.
Well, I was being polite, But no, it was really an interesting phenomenon that took place. There was a change in my universe and the way I looked at people, and realizing I have a responsibility as a poet laureate. I know, Dane, this may not be exactly the question you asked, but that's what came to mind. I think it's very important. Poetry is the soul of a society, and without poetry, there is no soul. As we can witness with certain elected or non-elected officials.
Yep.
So our job, I say poets are the doctors of the soul. And I try and live by that. How's that, Dane?
I think that's a great answer, Larry. There are no right answers. It's just a jumping off point to you know, just kind of look into, what people might be doing as artists, or where they want to go, or how they see things. And maybe this is an unexamined, for some people, it's an unexamined part of their work, because they may be working in a journalism mode and not reflecting on how their particular work or what they're doing might be taken as a model for how people could live their lives. Not to say that we, dictate these things, but I think it is at some point something that, if it hasn't, it will pass through you, and it will be something that you contemplate. So who would like to take the next to answer what they may have considered about the role of the poet in society? There's only two more people left. Okay, go ahead, Belinda.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
Linda, you've been doing it for such a long time, and you've been recording other people, and you've done stuff for that. What motivated you? I mean, it's kind of part of what the question. What motivated you to
Connection.
decide to do that and keep doing it for so long?
Yeah. Once upon a time in a PX in Germany, I saw a dub recorder. We only had cassettes back then. This would have been 83. So I bought that thing and immediately think, what can I do with that? Because I've been writing and publishing since I was 17. So I'd already been doing it for a while. Oh, and there was a little bit of glamour about publishing from there, because it was still Cold War. Berlin Wall was up. I was in West Germany, and Bukowski himself sent me a pile of work because he was from there. And anyway, so I wanted connection, and I always was like, I put out in various small press mags and whatever about looking for poetry, art, and music, even back in 83. And I got it in enough places that I got cassettes from maybe 12, 13, 14 countries right off. So then I would dub in parts of the tape they sent me onto a master, and then send out to the contributors, as well as I had up to like 30, 40, 50, I don't know, universities subscribed to Gypsy/Virgin Press, and the tape series was called Sanctuary, but it's actually an ancient version of Gas, Poetry, Art, and Music. So there you go. I'm sorry, what was the question? Oh yeah, that it was it's connection, reaching out to others who first of all, like me, who have this thing that they must create, and who would understand, and then also to share the message with the world in whatever way we could. I hope that answers. It wasn't highfalutin, though.
No, it was good. I mean, obviously you believed in words from other folks, and you believed to not only get your words out, but get other people's words out.
Right.
I like that. I think that's very on point. It's the connection. It's the human connection, and just riding that wave and making the connection and stuff. So many things happen through that, and you've described perfectly your journey of connecting with other people in the world. It's wonderful. So thank you for that. And now, Mr. Michael Sindler, it's your turn.
Okay, yes, and I will continue with this idea of connection, because I do feel it is the most important thing, and I think it is what art is about. I've often said, art is what happens between people. It's, and it takes both in order to actually have art. And so to be part of that, that's putting things out, is wonderful. And I've always, it's just part of what I am. And, I've just sort of did it and didn't really get it out. And now to have this opportunity in which, I have a way to actually really get my art out to the world and have it connect and resonate with people, is just incredibly beautiful. And, as I've said, the sort of silver lining or almost golden lining to the horror that was the pandemic, and still is the pandemic, is the fact that people came together on the internet like we're doing right now, and all of a sudden founded this global community of poets that is unlike anything that's ever been in the history of the world. It's like every day I'm with poets who are now my dear friends from every single part of the world. And it's something I feel incredibly blessed with. And out of that have become all kinds of opportunities for, obviously being published, and for doing collaborations, and just for finding connections in many ways, be able to, help them do something here, or so, I think that this honor of being Beat Poet Laureate is something that I appreciate very much, because I hope that it might help me do that a little bit more and spread a little bit more compassion, which I think is, really my hope to do with everything I do. And again, being somewhere where, beat is such an integral part of, just in my opinion, this whole city. Just, it sort of breathes beat, whether it knows it or not. To actually feel like I have a better way as far as spreading that, makes me very, very happy.
That's wonderful. While you were talking about, kind of like spreading the word, I would like Larry to talk a little bit about, he would like us all to start like a magazine together. And I just have not had time to even think about all these things, but if you could say a few words, Larry, what you would like to happen, we can work on it together.
Sure. You put a smile on my face.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were going to bring it up. My working title is Rebeat.
Rebeat.
I think
As in to
good.
beat again, as opposed to repeat, but rebeat.
I like
That's my
that.
It's my working title.
Have a big frog. Rebeat.
Yeah. Or, well, whatever. I would like it to be multimedia, as a magazine. I think to start out quarterly would be the best bet. I just see it. I see that as an organization, we can use our own publication to further expand the reach of the organization. Mm-hmm. And getting everyone reading Rebeat repetitively.
Excuse me, would it be just the Beat people laureates officially, or we're bringing everybody in, or how do you see that?
Well, I think we would have maybe laureates as like a featured in each issue, but I want to open it up. I especially want you know, to be youth and really reach into a younger marketplace.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, we need that. We need younger people
so,
coming
and
in.
I think it would give us a way for there to be an entrance into the laureate program as well for you, Deb, by people who are contributing to the publication, you know, and making themselves visible to the editors, that you might be able to have you know, some other people to select. But that wouldn't be my prime mission. My prime mission is to publish some damn good freaking poetry.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Well, I mean,
And
oh, go ahead.
rebeat.
Rebeat.
I mean, to me, I hope that, I mean, Belinda, you basically kind of have the model. You are using the internet and you're using your YouTube channel with having it be multimedia, because you're playing music, you're showing people's artwork, you're reading poetry over that stuff, and you know, you're putting that out pretty regularly. I think it would be a good idea to have something like that on our website. So, because we're not, I mean, some poet laureates see the website as something to share, and others don't. So part of this is our organization can grow if each of us helps it grow.
Yep.
And, you know, then maybe if we have a project, Larry, like you're saying, that we say, okay, we're going to try to do this and let's get out a couple issues with, you know, those that we know we have enough laureates among us, and slowly build that. So then we are inviting other folks, or then more people want to be involved, and there's a submission process. And I think with young people, we need to have, they could read, they could do video. I mean, they're doing so much more with their phones and,
Mm.
you know, all the various social platforms, and they're, you know, into showing the videos and having that it may work out pretty well as far as that. One question I had in terms of other folks related to this, some of you sound like you're seeing being called a beat as a positive.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you're all delusional like the rest of us. I'm just
Yes, Daddy-o.
curious. I'm just
We're hip to it, Daddy-o.
I'm just well, because some people avoid it, and some people think that now it's limited to them.
No.
And because, you know, some people have a sense that they, in terms of how they want to define in this world of which category are you in, and now are you only seen as a beat or anything like that.
Let's put it this way, Paul. If you're a beat poet, you're cool. If
Oh,
you're not a
definitely.
beat poet, you're not
Abs-
cool. It's real simple.
Okay, well, if you
I
could
don't
send me
feel
a letter.
like to be considered as beat is limiting. You know, it's not saying, you know, this is all I am. You know, it's just saying I'm coming from a history and I'm trying to, you know,
Yes.
bring this history up, and, you know, we're modernizing, you know, everything, you know, you're bringing new stuff to that. You don't want it to be something stagnant. So, yeah.
I don't see it as limiting at all. It's
Yeah.
free. I mean, I don't think you can define beat real tightly. It's like broad. So I don't see it as limiting.
For me, it is liberating actually, because it has connotations which make me feel liberated actually. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's positive for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole, you know,
Well, I always say, you know, we keep evolving. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I want us to be known for. We're not limited to just traditional things, you know. And
Well, I
we
mean,
can bring new things forward.
yeah, I mean, even the, you know, what the tradition is that we're bringing forward is so much more broad than people understand. What, you know, very few people really know what beat does mean, you know. And it's like, to read Ginsberg and to read oh geez, you know, many of the others, but Gary Snyder is who comes to mind immediately. And it's like, in many ways, Gary was the one who first Well, Ferlinghetti was the one who first turned me on to it. I was just like, ah, but you know, just the incredible way that Snyder is so in touch with the spirit and so in touch with nature is just
He lives his art.
yeah, well, he definitely lives everything he says. He's so incredibly truthful. But you know, I mean, I mean, it's completely different than, you know, each one of them, you know, the ones we know, the most famous ones, and you know.
Hey, I'm not trying to convince you. Don't get me wrong. I'm just
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way. I'm just asking because it has come up sometimes with folks or when people. I mean, I think what I honor Debbie for doing is to say that there is a new generation. She has put that out in many ways, and I think people keep thinking these various things, whatever it is, stopped with the expressionists. Well, there was new people who came out after the expressionists because they got inspired and they created something else, and so none of these art forms are stagnant, and they change, and they all have some history or somebody that inspired them. And so I think it's great that it's when they talk about a new generation right there, it kind of implies that you're taking it somewhere else too, or extending out from where it was.
Sure.
So this is something we can talk about, what Larry's been talking about to me for the last year and a half at least, right? Trying to get a magazine of sorts.
Well, Larry, if you wanted to, I don't know if you want to be in the forefront of this, if you want to just even do say an outline of what you think would be in the magazine, and then you would say, okay, I need 3 people to do this, or will there be an interview, or should we take some videos from folks? Because a lot of people have videos already on their YouTube channels of them reading and have that be part of the magazine. Maybe just someone starting the process, the rest of us can jump in and help you do that, not to put the pressure on you that you have to do it or anything. I'm not saying that, but I think that if we could start. Okay, cool. Will it be out next? Will you have it out next week? I just wondering.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Just to give you some background.
Paul, Chryssa is wanting to. She said she sent questions, 3 questions for the laureates, and the question and answer. I don't know if she wants to come in and be seen. She's out there somewhere. You'd have to let her in, I guess.
Let's see the questions. How could you contribute as a laureate so that young
Q&A, rather.
Yeah, I'm reading them now. How could you contribute as a laureate so that young people come nearer to us? The world is under crisis. My daughter is afraid our generation is destroying her future. Do you think poetry and poets can contribute to change? We've kind of talked about some of this. And do you plan any projects inspired from your role, which we're discussing now with this idea of a magazine?
Yeah. Does Chryssa want to come in, Paul?
I don't know. I'm looking to see. I don't see her in the list. Sorry.
Well, she would have to be made.
Okay, she can talk, but there's no video for her because she's coming in as an attendee.
Yeah, but you could change her status.
Let me see.
Give her the power of the beat. Beat power.
There she is. Sort of.
Yep.
So, Chryssa, that's very important to you. I know specifically about the young people coming in.
Yes.
So that when we are gone, someone can carry on.
We were talking about it together, that we should give a different option to our organization, and bring young people in the organization so they can contribute to what we want to do, because we are older and we have a lot to give, as you said, but we must give it to some people, to some young people, and they are not here. So we must do something to bring them to us. They must see something that interests them to us, on us. So it will be a mixing that perhaps gives fruits in the future. And also, I was very worried. I am very worried, as every people on this earth should be, about what is happening on the environment, what the changes and the catastrophes. They're all everywhere. And I'm working with projects on empathy for all these things. Do you think that poetry can contribute to that, and how?
Well, I mean, my whole point of what I do is to try and help myself learn to be more compassionate and to spread the idea of being more compassionate, because I think, well, we may not have that long as a species, period. We will have a little longer time if we learn to be compassionate, and also what time we have left will be better if we learn to be more compassionate. And so, yeah, that is sort of the impetus of everything I do. And I think that it is. I think that as poets, we can do that, and we can do that in venues that are not necessarily literary. That there are places that we can sneak our way in.
Well, something I hope that the combination of us working together. I mean, I'm actually putting out an anthology. It's the 10th year. I've worked a long time trying to get word stages in festivals that people would not assume there could be a word stage. That, like, we have a music stage, we have this stage, and I convinced this one festival, the Galaxy Arts Festival, to have a word stage. And then it became something that people really realized, oh, these are really talented writers, and they should be seen as artists along with all the other artists that we bring in to these festivals. And so that's something that Ron Whitehead, a bunch of people have talked about, like moving. Not only we're all coming to Connecticut, but if we would organize some stuff of, okay, can 4 of us come out to Colorado? Can 5 of us go to here to do that? Can we set up something to create events that we then utilize the laureates that we have? And some of that can be in person and some of that could be Zoomed. And we all know from, I mean, watching Belinda and other people, you create something that happens and people start responding, and you create people coming to your thing. And like you said, all of a sudden you had all those contributions of people wanting to be in your thing. And it's just the energy we need. Deb can only do so much in terms of making all this happen. And so it's kind of really left up to the rest of us to figure out. And so, Larry, that's great in terms of that. And I think any other projects like that will just get us all out there and more people involved, and then hopefully more young people being involved also.
Good point.
And I would like to just mention more people who are otherwise have less voice, as well as children. There are a lot of marginalized people who I think it would be a very important thing for us to make their voice better known, and to do something that's helping the community for them as well, if possible, in what little way we can.
Homeless. There are lot of homeless people in everywhere, everywhere, and in America too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
one
think
thing.
I have my what you say title has generated interest a lot in India, because I do get a raised eyebrow because people don't know very much in this era. Like you said, the younger people don't really know much about it, so they would they wonder why and what is this title that I have now. And I very proudly displayed it in my forthcoming books, on the cover, so that there is visibility. As a special case, I never do it in any of my other book covers, but I made it a point so that it generates interest and we go back and talk about it. And I talk about it to a lot of younger people myself every time, because I interact a lot and read a lot, in my city and otherwise. And people want to know. I love the way it's generating. And like you said, somebody actually wrote best by mistake because they don't even know about the beats. Some of them don't. So, like you made me correct that your title is wrongly written, is because the person who typed it out didn't even know that there is something called a beat poet or beat poetry. So it has, for me, I think it's going to get a lot more visibility, and I'm going to talk about it, to more younger people. That's going to be my little contribution in this part of the world.
Yeah, we haven't set a scale, but you might be the best poet laureate. We don't know.
I also want to bring up that once you have this title, I don't let you out of it. You're here for life.
Oh, big group hug to all of you.
That is very nice to hear. Oh man, that makes me happy.
That makes me happy too. Yes. So already oozing love for all of you here. Great.
I think what we're doing here tonight, or today, depending on where you live, I think that these kind of things, with a bunch of us just talking together, is something, that could happen more. Did you enjoy tonight? This.
Totally.
It's been great.
Absolutely.
I mean, it could definitely be part of the magazine where you stay, that there'll be a Zoom reading, and that's actually part of the thing and discussion, and set that up, in terms of.
It's been great to have the opportunity to chat with everyone a little bit, get to know each other here.
Yeah, that's been fantastic.
I feel like I know all of you. Like
you do.
My friends, no matter where you're from.
Just so amazing that we are able to become friends from wherever we are.
Thank God for technology.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of issues as far as technology, but when it is something great, I'm more than happy to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Dane, could you talk a little bit? I mean, you have a series that you do. I keep missing it, unfortunately. But what's your sense of your series that you do and people coming to it? And do you feel like you're building something there, and anything that we could learn from, yourself in terms of doing that?
I think I'm on a path. I'm on a path, and so I don't know, where the path is leading, if it leads anywhere at all. But I do really, it's very edifying for me to be able to pull together people, and I have been working on something that's very important to me is the national and international connection. And I know that people get very excited about doing live performances and stuff like that. And now that things have opened up, there's a lot of people going, oh, well, why would I go to Zoom? But I think of it in terms of, well, I don't have to park, I don't have to drive anywhere. And I can see people from all over the world if I can work out the time zones. And so I really do like the idea of creating a space where people can come and share their work and see people that maybe they're not necessarily going to see down at the local poetry reading joint. I'm actually I'm starting to wend my way closer to home because I have I probably know more poets from across the globe than I do actually where I live, and so I do want to try to pull those things together and create something where there's more of a connection nationally, internationally, and so I'm not kind of forming a judgment about anything, but just trying to work from a basis of opportunity and expand. I also try to specifically focus on people that you don't see. There's quite a number of venues where you see a lot of the same folks over and over and over again, and that are readily given features and stuff like that. And I try to pull in people that are not the usual suspects on the feature list. And then one of the things that I do want to do is also extend an invitation to any of the Beat laureates to come and give a feature, and I'm working my way through that list, and so where it all ends up, and if it adds up to anything, I'm not worried about doing it that way. What I'm worried about doing is just making the space available and where people can come and share their work and grow from it, and not necessarily think that it's going to lead to anything other than a group of people sharing their work.
But it does build a community too.
Hopefully it does.
Yeah.
Your words build a community. Your words that are different from the usual we hear all around.
Yep.
And the hypocrisy we confront every day. This is what I like when I meet poets like you. You are true. And keep doing it.
Yes, I intend to keep going on with it. I do like the idea of that's being discussed about the multimedia type of thing, and I just think at some point, and it really hasn't taken off from me yet, but a lot of people are consuming a lot of things around the world, and the way they do that is digitally, and it's so much easier now I don't have to have a printing press or the money to pay somebody to let me use their printing press, which was a gatekeeping thing from before. But I think, a lot of the, people they're using digital devices and stuff like that. And so it's so much easier now if you want to include music and art and, some kind of moving images with your words, that is the frontier of what we're doing. And especially, younger people are very much into that, so to expand that way. And Paul, you said something about maybe the word is stigmatized, people feeling stigmatized because they've been labeled as a beat. And I have to tell you that my experience of that was when I first started during the pandemic, when I first started going to the Zoom readings, and people said, "Oh, you know, you remind me of beats, of beat poetry," and then I was very honored by that, because it wasn't necessarily something I was aiming at or trying to do, but what made me feel good about it is that there was some connection with the people hearing the work that I was sharing, that in their hearts and minds, they made a connection to some other art form that had come before me. And they thought enough of it to say, you know, you remind me of this other form, or the way these other people worked. And then I started going back and looking at it, and then I could see, oh yeah, I think I do understand now why they're making that connection, because some of the aesthetic approach to the work is something that I have learned as a fine artist from fine arts background, and you know, as an approach to how the artist investigates a particular theme or subject that they want to investigate in their art, whether it's a sculpture or a watercolor, and then making a decision, you know, would this be a good triolet, or should it be a sonnet, or should it be just whatever I put down on the page in that particular time. So this has been a very enriching experience for me, and I'm so very glad to be a part of this family, and hope to offer whatever I am able to you know, expand it. And yeah, so this is all cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. I want to ask, just follow that up with young Belinda. You've been doing this for a while, and so when you would hearing what Dana just said, what's your sense of where it's going? Because you have been moving with each new technology in the attempt to keep expanding your view of bringing the arts together. And we're talking about an online magazine or something, and not to, you know, copy you or whatever, but just that whole sense of you've learned things obviously from trying to do it.
Yeah, I learned what I really get passionate about wanting to do. When I first saw that people were doing poetry and video, this was like 20 years ago or 15 years ago. That was so exciting to me. Just the way the voice and putting together the cassettes, just so exciting to me. I may have reached the end of it though. I don't think I'm going into AI. I don't really, not that, I guess there's a place for that, but not me probably. I would be happy to help. You know, I enjoy, I may not be the best interviewer, but I've been doing it a good while, and I enjoy it. So I'm happy to help in any way that I can. And once this magazine gets established, maybe we could take turns being the editor for that. Like take turns editor each month would be a different beat or something. I don't know. It'd have to get established first, or I don't know. I always have ideas popping around. I can always share them when I have them. I'm happy to put together videos too, if you like anything the way I've been doing. I'd love to put poetry, art, and music together. And well, you know what I do. Those
Yeah, that's why I asked you, because you know, any of us who've seen your work, there's great stuff that you do, and you support a lot of artists, and we're talking about doing it. So it's always good to talk to someone who's been doing it to just
I'm
get
happy to do
ideas.
things for the site that you're talking about, for the magazine site. I mean, I can do some stuff, whatever people want me to do, you know. That's in my wheelhouse, you know.
I want to ask Larry, when you were at the Kerouac house, were there other people like walking through or visiting, or?
I was with the owner of the house, He's a private individual who purchased the house and is working with the Kerouac family and the trust to put events on a regular basis. They've had some music events. They haven't had any real poetry events yet, which I hope to change that pretty soon. But he's really excited about having poetry there, you know.
And how old is he? I mean, is he a young guy or middle age? Or
No,
what?
late middle age.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's mainly doing music too, you know, there's the great transitional thing of hip hop, which, you know, which is, in my opinion, very much related to, you know, what beat is. You know, it both, you know, really come out of that whole, I mean, spoken word tradition, but also that underlying jazz within it. And
Basically, he's had jazz, you know,
yeah,
groups there, but he's only owned it a short time, so we're getting together at a good time to help formulate. I want to have a program for school kids to come in and we'll do readings of Jack's work,
oh,
you
right.
know, and they get copies of On the Road or something. I don't know yet. See what can be worked out, but they're really excited about having a good program there.
That's good. So, is it time for us to go
This is where
about
you
it?
put the phone number across and where to send the checks, basically.
That's the only thing missing. Oh, I do what I can, but really, I
Hey,
mean, it's been tough, you know, trying to get the funds together to do all these things.
well, I mean, you've gotten a lot of anthologies out in a very short period of time. And it's pretty amazing.
Very
With
commendable. Very commendable. Yes, absolutely. A big kudos and big cheers for that. Yes.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
can thank Paul for that, because
Yeah.
Paul's really the one.
You are the
Yeah.
inspirer, who is
Paul.
the executioner.
Bravo for Chryssa.
Chris,
well,
what time is it? What time is it where you are, Chryssa?
Something before 3 in the morning.
Oh,
Where are you from? Where are
I'm in Larissa, Greece.
oh, nice.
Yes,
Okay.
Larissa is a town, a rural town, just on the feet of Olympus, you know.
Wow.
Yeah,
Historic.
the mount of the ancient god, full of his history here.
Where the torch is, right?
And my town is also very a town of culture. I just came from an event where I was presenting poems and music.
Wow.
But
That's wonderful.
So,
Yeah.
do you all think that you yourselves are benefiting from what we're trying to do here? Besides trying to help others to learn about these things, do you feel yourselves as, you know,
I just
benefit?
feel like ennobled, you know, I'm feeling more ennobled already, like a person just by, you know, sharing space with all of you. And there's there's a feeling of history, that you're part of a river which is gushing and still very, it's foamy and it's trilling sounds. I feel part of a very vibrant community when I'm here today. Despite the age we talked about.
Hey,
But we should be a bit older because we are beats. And if we say we are beats and we are not old, then we are not beats because the beats are from the 50s.
Yeah, well, eventually we'll have like a whole descendant order of beats.
In the middle, anyway.
Yeah. Like little tiny kids in berets.
That's my point, yes. If there's youth in your heart, the heart never wrinkles, ladies and gentlemen. It's
beautiful.
The face. The heart doesn't even know about wrinkles.
Yes.
Only the face does. So if that is kept alive and throbbing, we're good, I think. Yeah.
In fact, in Greece, there is no problem if I say I'm a beat. Because the beat movement in Greece was very well embraced, and beats loved Greece and came here, and many poets wrote afterwards. There is a whole school of poets. They wrote after the beats. So, in fact, when Debbie approached me, I didn't know what it is. After I understood that I was a bit, because I do. I love people. I write for people. I love the spiritual life. I care for others. I care for the environment and all this. I love music. I love to mix different kind of video, music, word, etc. So I'm a bit, and this is what I think we mean when we say that we are beats. That we're after the beats, not the beats, of course. But there are some people among us, they were in that movement, and I'm very proud I met them.
I think it's really important how diverse all our voices are. And I think that I'm hoping that gets conveyed in our magazine and other things that we do, because I think that will also change the whole aspect of people talking about beats, because suddenly there's just such a wide range here and all the other laureates that you suddenly realize, okay, there is no category here. I mean, listening to one laureate over another, you realize, wait, are they in the same? What brings them together? And I think that will be a great thing to have people realize, that it's about connections, humanity, caring about future generations. We do that all in our own ways and our own voices. And I think that's the most important part of, especially what you said, Lily, of just, it's a big fight around the world to have people have a voice, and how many poets have been executed around the world from various time periods because they had a voice. So I think it's not something to take lightly, that we are trying to keep reinforcing each other to have a strong voice and to use our voices. So
yeah, well, I represent the gravel voice community.
And
on that note, folks,
I will represent the AI voice.
No, AI,
Oh God, no.
But I'm going to take this moment to say goodbye to everybody.
I really use it. I use it to mock with technology. I like to talk with AI.
Technology is nice. AI is not nice.
It is so funny.
Yes. Well, we'll talk later. We'll talk. But again, I just want to thank everybody, and Debbie, I just really am so thankful for this honor. It's very special, and
If
So I
if
will-
you are available on Sunday, feel free to come on or send a
Well, I
video.
am. I know there's the open mic thing, and I was planning on trying to do that.
Yeah.
Dane is saying something, but I don't know what. I guess he's talking to somebody else. But yeah, I will try and fit in everything I can fit in.
Right. Good
Okay.
seeing you.
Okay.
I
Well,
just wanted us to all come together today because so that I mean I think it was nice, you know,
Yeah.
that you could have more time and because you're all very important and I wish you could all come, you know, be here with us in person, but
I do too. Yeah, I would love to be there. I
things
gotta
Thank
are
you very
go. So peace,
things are
y'all.
strained, you know, now. A lot of the flights, I mean, they're ridiculously priced, you know.
Yep, that's true. I would have loved to have been there, embrace each one of you and hug each one of you personally. I wish I was richer.
Hey, Deb, I made you a host again because I have to leave, so you have to turn off the video.
Okay.
Take
Thank
care,
you all.
everyone.
Meeting you.
Bye, Paul.
Bye bye.
Nice
Bye.
meeting
Mhm.
And
Thank you,
thank
Deb.
you.
Yes,
And nice
you.
I'll be
talking
seeing
to everybody. Hope to see you soon.
you.
Yes, soon. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mhm. So Larry, do you have to get off
Yes.
right now?
No,
Because what I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I have to do to get this magazine going.
well, we'll
What
why don't we get through the festival and then we'll talk.
Yeah, but I really want to make that happen
I do
for
too.
you and for all of us, really.
I think it's going to be a great publication. You
I mean,
know,
I would like you to be, you know, like it's your really idea. It could be, it's like your magazine, kind of, you know, and then you could do interviews of the different, you know, poets.
yeah. I have it totally visualized.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking for the right format platform for it. There's a lot of different magazine platforms. So
Mhm.
I'm investigating that now.
All right.
And
So I want to thank
as
Lily
naturally
for
read, I'm sorry.
setting your alarm and coming on so in the middle of the night to see us. And Chryssa,
You're
who
all
never goes to sleep.
okay. Thank you. It's time for my morning tea, though. I make my quick cuppa, and I'm glad I was here, whether it was 3:30 or whatever in the morning. It was such a joyful interaction, and thank you for the efforts you make.
You are so beautiful and kind that it is always for us beautiful interaction with you. You're so sweet.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy
So I
to
want to
hear that.
ask you about your necklace, though. What is this?
Yeah, nice.
Is that a real stone in there? Is that
It's
a real?
supposed to- Sure, it's not real. It's just an heirloom piece I got handed down. So probably is something.
Is it a garnet or is it?
It's
like-
more like a ruby. More like a ruby.
It's, well, wait a minute.
Thank
It's
you.
more like a ruby. I was gonna say garnet. Because you're saying no, it's not that much.
You know, Debbie makes beautiful necklaces and all this kind. And once the first time I went to America, she brought some to show me, and she said, "Take whatever you want." And I took them all.
She took them all.
Yeah.
But that's okay because I can make more. But before we get off, I want to tell you all. I went to see Johnny Depp in concert in Boston.
Saw the
I was
picture.
supposed to meet him, but I talked to his people all the time. And the reason why I don't have any of his poetry yet is because he feels that he'll be judged by his poetry and he doesn't feel he's good enough to share it. To me, that's very sad. Or he's afraid people will make fun of him, if he puts out his poetry. But anyway, I was supposed to meet with him, and he was, I don't want to call him shy, but he is at times a very shy person. And that night that I was there, he was being bombarded by the media like nobody's business in Boston, and he decided he wasn't going, we were invited to the backstage after the concert, and he didn't want to come out because he didn't want all these people, descending on him, because they were all over him before the concert. So I didn't get to meet him in person, but I did talk to the other band members, and I gave him 2 bracelets.
Wow.
One that I had made, and the next night when he was in New Hampshire at the concert, he was wearing one of the bracelets. I even took a picture of it, showed him. So I mean, I wrote
So
him.
you are a proud creator of bracelets. That jointers wear.
Well, David Amram, he wears the necklace I made him all the time now,
Beautiful.
which is nice to know, that
Wonderful.
they like what I do. But anyway, say we're all different people and we're all from different backgrounds and everything, but we're all just regular people deep down. I mean, we're all people.
Yes. Humans, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm gonna let you all go to sleep for 10 minutes before you start your day.
All right. Bye, Chryssa. Bye, Debbie.
Bye.
God bless. Thank you. I'm going off.
And Chryssa, you want me to send you this video?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
All right. I had to just see you tonight anyway.
Well,